Hey, hey, Magic 8 Ball. Will we all launch ourselves into awesomeness today? Yes. All right. You guys heard it here. The Magic 8 Ball has proclaimed it to be true. To be true. Let me take a minute to introduce who we are for those of you who are just finding us here. So I am the founder of Eat Like a Bear, and we are a weight loss community. We it's sort of like our main sort of heart and steam comes right out of the heartland of America. In fact, here's a map. But we're all over the world, though. And I should get like a legitimate world map. But we're really strong in the United States, in the Midwest. Though, interestingly, I'm in California, though I am in a national monument. I'm in the Giant Sequoia National Monument of California, kind of California's cowboy country. We are time-restricted eaters for the most part. And so when you go to eatlikeabearden.com and look for some resources, or eatlikeabear.com, you're going to see things like this that show that a thing that's working for us is that we eat our meals in a very kind of restricted time window in the day. And we have a lot of time in the day where we don't eat. And so it's basically putting all your calories in like a few hours. So you'll see some graphics like this in the Getting Started materials. And also what you eat in that hour or 5 hours or whatever it is that you're eating also matters. And so you'll see some information like this. And it's essentially low carb eating. What many of us do is a highly crafted, the popular meal in the community is a giant salad called the Ridiculously Big Salad. And you'll find more information about that as well. And, share with friends. So I always forget to say that. So I put that right in with the information. Okay. So, perhaps you've seen us because we've appeared 7 times in national press. So this was me on the cover of a magazine. Okay. And, it profiles the Ridiculously Big Salad. And then we have, that's Melinda Troxel right there, okay, backwards for me. And this is our 3-day challenge, which a lot of you have taken this week. And that's why we're here with this video, is a 3-day challenge. So yeah, it's on the cover of a national magazine. Amazing, amazing. Okay, so here's another one. This is just over a year ago. And then Sean in, this is about, profiles the soup approach that we have. And then, I don't know if you guys saw that Iola is in this one. And then Iola, who's Iola, you're wondering? Oh, well, this is Iola right here. Okay, so right here. And then Michelle, this was a surprise to us because they used Michelle as an intermittent faster and combined her case with another, with this doctor. And, sometimes the doctors don't all have like 50-year-old women who are success cases. So I guess we're happy to share our intermittent fasting success with other doctors, and hopefully they'll encourage it and get more people trying it. So intermittent fasting is time-restricted eating, as I referred to here. And so you'll see this kind of graphic on the website in the Getting Started materials. If you go to either eatlikeabear.com to the Start Here page, or there's also a Start Here page on eatlikeabearden.com. And eatlikeabearden.com is the place where you can go and start your own profile and ask questions. So I hope you're going to do that. I do hope you're going to do that. But also eatlikeabearden.com is the place for our special projects, because we have people finding us from sort of all corners of social media, and now from like, things like the magazines. And so the Den is our central hub. And I want to highlight that for you. So you can ask questions there, but also you can find success stories there. And we've just started kind of pushing for this. So hopefully, if you're here listening and have a story to share, you can share your story there too. And we're really about collecting the evidence that this works. And speaking of collecting the evidence, I want to say a little bit more. So a lot of you guys find me out in social media doing these little 20 and 30 second videos. And all of those are anchored in what I call tenets. Okay, so you see me like making salad dressing, and all that. And that's kind of what I'm known for, is like the 30-second, 60-second salad dressings. I actually have a PhD in political science, and so sometimes you'll hear me being maybe too academic, and this might be one of those moments. But we have what we call tenets in it. I highlight them in the Engage community. And so Engage is a member-funded community that is based on psychology of weight loss. And so member-funded means it's not free. Y'all pay for it if you're a member. Okay, that's what that means. And I'm very, very explicit about these tenets in Engage. But I want to point out that these tenets underlie everything that I do in this community, in leading this community, in making the content that I make. And so I want to just review those now. And I'm going to just, and you guys, I love it. Thanks for coming, you guys. Oh, look at this. Hey, and oh my gosh. And you know what this is? I'm excited because this stream is hitting both YouTube and the Facebook Eat Like a Bear page at the same time. And when I promoted it, I sent people to the YouTube link because I was pretty sure that would work. But I see maybe Facebook's working too. Yay. Okay. So good morning, you guys. So awesome. So you can see people are coming from all over. And so engagers know the tenets. But let me just go through these here, because really the point with the tenets, the thing is, my own personal weight loss case is an unusual one. As you dig in and hear my story, there was sort of an unexpected sequence of events that sort of led me to a psychology that I think is a little bit unique. And so some of my own reactions to what happened in my life were kind of natural for me to respond in that way. And so it's easy to take some of that stuff for granted. And what's happened over these years, as we've realized, wow, we're having really unexpected success in this community, is what is it that I did was actually important. So you know how it is. There's a whole bucket of things that you do because it's just how you do things. And I can guarantee you that we might not want to sort of replicate every single thing that I might do in my life. You can ask my husband, right? I mean, so what is it that I did in my own weight loss was really critical in driving the success? And what is it then that can be replicated that is driving more success in the community? And so as I've really looked at this and sought out help from academics, especially social scientists, since that's how my brain works, in like what is kind of the uniqueness of what we're doing, I've wanted to kind of create my own anchors for my own content, but also anchors for what I'm teaching, and to try to like pass on the right stuff and not just all the crazy, quirky Amanda stuff, because I'm sure there's a lot of that. Some of it might be right and some of it might not be. But anyway, the tenets essentially don't come out of my ear. They come out of, they're like anchored in social science research. And some of them will look familiar. So for instance, the first one, act as if. And so act as if, this is actually a phrase that really comes more out of like the kind of self-help literature. It's used very commonly that, it kind of fits in with the whole fake it till you make it thing. And the whole like, let's begin living in our goal. And I want to direct you in the 3-day challenge materials. There is so much information on the big goal. If you haven't seen it, please go find it. There's so much on this tenet. There's more in Engage, but the thing is, I like talk about this all over the place. If you haven't seen it, you need to. And if you post, you know what? Go to the den, to the 3-day challenge. Post a picture of your big goal. We'll give you feedback. Okay, do it. One of the tenets is build evidence. Build evidence. One key thing that I teach is, and that I appreciate in what I did, is let's just say I'm a really shrewd negotiator, and there is an area of social science that sees sort of the weight loss dilemma as, like, why is it that we sort of continue to like make bad decisions, like eating the donut, when in fact our life would be so much better if we stepped away from the donut, for instance, and worked on our long-term goals, like living a vibrant life, and that we all face this internal battle, like in ourselves, those voices, all that, the little devil on your shoulder, however you think about it, everybody has it. And how do you win that negotiation and like essentially make the right choices? And so two of the tenets really center around that, and that so build evidence and build momentum. And I talk quite a bit about that internal negotiation. And maybe you've seen a bit of this in some of the video shorts. I'm not sure. It's something that is worthy of, like, I think we could talk about it every single day. And I think that people, what I want to say to you today is that's like universal. That internal battle, absolutely universal. And I think I know that I sort of used to think it was like a problem that I just had. No, absolutely universal. And a key reason for my success is some of the essentially negotiating tools that I used. I am trained, literally trained in like my PhD is in political science, and I'm literally trained in strategic behavior. My dad is a literal, just a minute. You can walk through, sure, but I'm doing a live video. Anyway, winning that internal battle is critical. Having sort of shrewd negotiation strategies ends up being critical. And so in terms of like what was kind of uniquely me in 2017, the point that I am a actual expert negotiator essentially is part of this. And so that's one of the tenets. And one of the things that you do in negotiation is you do build evidence for your side. And you see it in policy. You see it out there in the world in negotiation. And so how can you do that internally? We do this in Engage. You should do it whether you're in Engage or not, right? Build your evidence. Build your evidence that you're the person who says no to the donut. Speaking of, respect space and time. And the fact of the matter is that the further the donut is from you physically in space, okay? You have to drive 5 hours to get the donut. You're probably going to be able to say no pretty easily. That's obvious. Time, distance in time. You haven't eaten a donut for 5 years, okay? Like me. It gets easier. It just is easier. And so you're, sort of eating the donut like, oh, I only cheat every weekend. You're going to struggle a lot. You're going to struggle a lot. Why struggle? Why struggle? Weigh the cost of, so again, the theme of bargaining, weigh all the costs of your decision. Weigh all the costs. And if you really weigh the cost of eating that thing today, now, and consider that you will struggle more to not eat a second one or a 72nd one, the cost of that donut is a lot different. Let me need to move out of the sun here in a minute, but let me get through this. Leverage the good days. So you will find a video on YouTube that talks about good day strategies, and you will see it in the Soup, Skillets, and Sautés book, a very explicit discussion that I make about using the recipes, using the system and the process to leverage your good days to shore up your bad days. You guys, the reason that we get fat, let's be real, it's the bad days, right? And you know what I'm talking about already. That is that, we all have good days, we all have bad days, and that also never goes away. I mean, good days get better, bad days get better, get worse. We all sort of have different average levels of goodness in our good days and badness in our bad days, but we all do face bad days. So how can you work on a good day to help make your bad days a little bit better and essentially especially to set the intention to stay on track. That's a whole strategic process in itself. And so you can see that video on YouTube, though, I mean, it's more like a vlog, but you'll get the idea of what I'm talking about, and you can start to kind of implement that concept in what it is that you're doing. And so this is not an official tenet, but maybe it should be the main tenet of all of the things that we do, and it's called adaptation. And so what you're never going to see me do is go around here telling everybody to like eat the same way or to do exactly the same thing. I do expect that a big reason that most weight loss programs fail is because they focus on trying to teach people to do one thing. Lockstep behind that framework. And so then people look at it and say, well, there's that one aspect I can't do, and that must be the reason that it's not working for me. And then they just throw the baby out with the bathwater. And I say I mean, but I know that because how many times did I do that on past diets? And what I did this time is I took all of like my knowledge from, all that diet failure, and I put it together and I adapted it. I worked through it. I did, so you guys see me eating salads a lot, and I did actually land onto that general strategy really fairly quickly after some months of thought about what I was going to do. But even then, I kept sort of, what is the word? Like I call it iterating. It's very like statistics, academic coding. I iterated through my salads. And there is a YouTube video about that too, about the ridiculously big salad, where I show a little video clip of myself back in the fall of 2017, where I'm talking about the salad. And you can hear from the words that I'm using that, oh yeah, so I hadn't fully landed on the main model that I would be using, but I was working through it. And I was sort of adapting daily to like using my knowledge and adapting. And so these are tenets of the engaged community, okay, where we go really deep into these things. But I wanted to tell you guys, when you see my stuff, so a lot of you are not in the engaged community, but you see me out there in social media. And all of my videos are ultimately tie back to these tenets in some way. And definitely I don't make videos that are going to work against the tenets. And so, for instance, we don't share desserts in the Facebook group, for instance. It's one of the rules of the group. And you're never going to, while I would get a lot of views in social video if I was sharing or making dessert videos, I know I would get a lot of views because I used to have some dessert videos before I sort of realized that, desserts make you fat. So even though we all like to share them and eat them, that works against our weight loss in this community. And so you don't see me doing dessert videos. And so there's certain things that I'm not going to do because they work against the tenets, and certain stories that I tell because I know they support the tenets. And so all of these deep into these things in Engage, all of the content that you find here, it's at least my goal that all of it supports these tenets, and that ultimately it all like trickles. And so I'm going to talk about a few messages in Engage that we have coming up in the Engage community that are messages that, whether you're a member or not, let's go, right? Before the Engage community is pretty new. We've had huge amounts of success before it even existed. And it's from like community-wide challenges and launches just like this, okay? And so what I've done with Engage this quarter, upcoming, the next 3 months, is what I realized is it's too academic. Even though I'm an academic, I'm like, that's kind of academic, and maybe I'm a little bit bored by that. And so I got this idea, like, let's not be academic. What's going to touch our hearts? Because that's like what's going to get us excited and get us wanting to talk about all this, which then occurred to me that and you'll hear a new theme, like in the TikToks or whatever, is grandpa quotes. Okay, so wait for it on TikTok, but everything I ever needed to know about weight loss, I learned from my grandpa. And so we have 3 grandpa quotes in the upcoming months of Engage that absolutely you guys need to take and run with. And this first one may also be attributed to John Wayne. Who said it first? I do not know, Grandpa Rose or John Wayne. But interestingly, they are apparently related, like 4th cousins or something. I don't know how the cousin thing works. I've been told I'm a 6th cousin to John Wayne, which is why I'm apparently such a badass. But I also wonder why I'm so short, because John Wayne was like 6'3". Okay, so the quote, courage is being scared to death and jumping into the saddle anyway. Okay, so this is the theme of April in Engage, and the spirit of the ass-kicking PDF I put in the den for you guys that sent you here to this video. So you guys should all find it in there. It's there whether you're in Engage or not. And oh, actually, it looks, I've got it right here. Fight for it in 2022. We shall discuss this in a moment, but our other quotes, if you haven't fallen off a horse, then you haven't been riding long enough. Grandpa Rose said it, and I don't know, I wondered if Will Rogers also said it. Okay, this is May in Engage. And look, the thing is, gosh, guys, I mean, if this isn't like me in 2017, I don't know what is. And we have so many people very apologetic about like, gosh, I just can't get on track, or, you know, I've tried this and that and just am struggling. Yeah, I mean, we're all, but the thing is, it's all of that, like looking back and seeing like, where were the places specifically that you struggled? That analysis that you do yourself and shining a light on yourself and improving things. Okay, that's what you need to do. And very much, you only get to be an expert writer by writing, and if you ride, you're going to fall, and that's a fact. Why I've had success with weight loss is because the experience that I have had from lots of years of trying and staying fat. Okay, it's okay. Do not be ashamed of it. Do not be ashamed. Keep writing, guys. You keep writing. And so we'll have discussions like this in Engage, notably with Kimberly, who she sort of caused us to sort of launch a big like thing in on February 15th, which and I set a goal that I don't know. I don't know, you guys who've been in Engage. I still haven't updated that post, but oh my God. I did like a major life-changing thing in February that just still shocks me. So anyway, so Kimberly will update us and let us know how things are going for her. And my favorite grandpa quote for the 3rd month, this for anybody out there, and you don't have to wait till month 3. You ready? Okay, because I love this, is my favorite. Roll your smokes on horseback at full gallop. Grandpa Rose, surely an original quote, because who else would say that? Yes, my grandpa could roll his own smokes at full gallop on horseback. And the thing is, and that's how good he was at rolling smokes. Okay, Grandpa died of lung cancer. Okay, so I don't recommend the smoking part. But the point is, he was so good at rolling his smokes. I don't even know how he did it on horseback. I mean, you need 2 hands. I don't know. Anyway, I would. I mean, I don't roll smokes. Okay, but anyway, he was so good at it. This is what I teach in, like, read if you have the Soup, Skillets, and Sautés book, and I talk about learning, finding a recipe, a few that work for you, learning it, and just practicing it and doing it so that on those good days when you're there practicing that implementation, you're essentially setting your intention for the bad days. You wake up on a bad day, you do the recipe. It takes 5 minutes and you've learned it by heart and everything else, and you've set your intention. Get so good at it that you can do it under challenging circumstances. Okay. So if grandpa's challenging circumstance was full gallop, rolling like with a zigzag or whatever, our challenging circumstance would be that bad day where we wake up, but we're prepared because we already know how to do it. And so in June, I already am working on what I hope will be like legendary content for ourselves on that. So I have to admit, I'm totally energized to make the content entirely by the quote. Like, yeah. Okay, again, disclaimer, grandpa did die of lung cancer. Okay, so, okay, you guys. So what you're going to do in your assignment, everybody has this, so it's in the den, in the 3-day challenge area, is fight for it in 2022. And there's an exercise in here, and I walk you through it. So I would encourage you to download it. It's a PDF, and it should just like go right to your phone or whatever it is, and you can just scroll through it and read it. And I discuss fighting for it, okay, why we need to fight for it. And I give you an exercise at the end. And so that's in there and that's available. And what my intention for you is to really reflect and, be honest with yourself. So read the rest of the document, but then set aside some time. And then if I could fight daily for my health and wellness, I would. Okay. And if I could fight daily for my self-esteem, I would fill in the blank. And I gave some examples, come right out of my own life. Okay. I would walk for 30 minutes each morning. I would engage in a relaxation activity daily. And for like self-esteem, I would compare my progress to yesterday's, okay, not to someone else's. And I would create a list of my successes and reflect on them daily. I would surround myself with positive people. And so in the Engage group, I encourage people to create a list of 5. That is 5 things that they could do every day and you check off. And so what you can do is you can take your brainstorm here and you can generate your own list of 5 and then do it. Okay. So, the simplest, hardest thing any of us. And so I direct you to that. And I want to look at your comments, but that is, so Martha, almost like I just asked Martha to put this question in. She says, where do we download it? And so I don't know so Martha found us on YouTube. And I think the YouTube video has a link back to the den. And so you're going to go to eatlikeabearden.com, look for the 3-day challenge in the sidebar, and it'll be there. So it's called something like Launch into Spring, and you'll find it there. And if you are wondering about the other 3-day challenge resources, they're all in there. So eatlikeabearden.com, 3-day challenge, and then just look through there and you'll see a lot of different posts with different resources. But that is where you'll find this. It's like Launch into Spring, and the PDF is in there. Yeah. Yeah. Lita says self-esteem is huge. Yeah. It's interesting too that I found I've never had a problem, not much of a problem. I think my problems with self-esteem are sort of below average. So I have a high above average sort of self-esteem, and I always have, even, being overweight and all that. That said, having lost the weight and finding success in something that I had failed at for so many years has been life-changing for me. And there's something about you get beaten up by failure. Absolutely. And, we keep trying because we, in our 20s, we want to be beautiful or whatever, right? So we need to be thin, and you keep trying and trying. And then, you get a little older and, you want to actually not have a heart attack, right? Or whatever. The reasons are sort of different, but you keep trying and trying. All of that trying and failing really beats you up. And it has been life-changing for me to have success and to feel like I have control over this. So I don't get scared of gaining weight because I know then it's a matter of just dialing back in and losing it, because I know I can. I know I can. So, oh, Debbie says my microphone is super sensitive to moving my papers. Okay, I should have looked at comments earlier, but I have papers over there now, Debbie. Sorry, you guys. Uh, okay, yeah, that's the downside. You know, I need to now that we're getting our live tech all legitimate, Debbie. I should have screen shares where I just am clicking and showing them that way rather than holding them up. Yeah. Let's see. And well, Anne is related to Franklin Roosevelt. That's awesome. That is really, really awesome. And let's see. Stephanie says, Eat Like a Bear is going to help me get back on horseback. So Stephanie is an equestrian. I love it. I miss writing and so many other things I haven't been able to do because of my weight. So Stephanie, I think a couple of years ago, we must have gone viral or something in a small equestrian group, because there was like a month where we had a bunch of equestrians join us, and it's been so amazing. We'll have to find there's some amazing, like, joyous posts. There's someone, maybe, does anyone remember who it was? We could surely find it. It's buried in the Facebook group somewhere, but she got on her horse. She recorded getting back on the first time, and it just was so touching. She was so emotional. It was amazing. It was truly an amazing moment in our community. And it's interesting because, like, so many moments like that are like kind of locked up in that Facebook group and are very hard to find. And so it's one reason we have the den, and that the content is like more organizable and findable than in the Facebook group, and it's public. So the, like, transformation stories and all that, you should know it's public. So if you're going to post your photo, it's public. And so for some people who are sensitive to that, I want you to know that. But the reason we're doing that there is we have, again, people coming from all kinds of socials, and not even from social media. My email list is bigger than the Facebook group, a good bit bigger, for instance. And people are finding Eat Like a Bear from a lot of different places. Yeah. Patty, I am so tired of being obese. Yeah, I know. Gosh darn it. And so Patty, man, I mean, a 6-month grind is a major life change. And I was just stunned. So if you have not seen my video, you should search for it. It's called A Postcard from Yellowstone. And the theme is like, your life can change in 1 year. And it's based on photos that I took 1 year apart. I recreated family vacation photos at Yellowstone National Park. And I mean, they blew me away. Find the video. Let's see. And so someone was going to text me to fix something. Oh, okay. This is the papers. Okay. Well, anyway, okay. Okay, you guys. I'm just reading about the papers. Sorry, you guys. Okay. 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 Well, I'm just scrolling up through all the paper comments. So we have paper comments for like 10 minutes. Okay. Well, I'm going to just go back down to the current comments. So if you have something I missed, go ahead and put it in again. And let's see. I'm going to look at some of these. And Anne asks, what's my opinion on drinking collagen with this plan? Yeah, I took some collagen, but with a meal, I would, any of the supplements I would have with the meal. Okay. Most of them are better absorbed than anyway. And so just keep it all in with the meal. Collagen, there's a lot of hype out there about it. There's a lot of claims now about like, like it needs to be certain forms or whatever. I feel like, I feel like if we just, had bone broth or whatever, if we just kept eating good food, that's kind of our long game. And, frankly, I get kinda tired about of, like, the way the supplement industries, all of them, not just collagen, it's going through its own stages of, like, finding that consumers like the idea of collagen, and then they're all, like, trying to compete for that, like, we're the special collagen, and so it's in that phase now of, like, "Oh, it has to be like this, it has to be like that," and I think, what if we just go with collagen, like, from the bone? What if we just make our own broth or whatever? So that's kinda where I am with it, but in my rapid weight loss phase, I did take some collagen, at the time thinking like, "Oh, it would help my skin," and it may have helped my skin a bit, I have no idea, I didn't take it maybe as consistently as I should have taken it, and, but I don't it's not gonna hurt, it's not gonna hurt. I don't again, I think if you're eating really well anyway, I'm not sure I'd be inclined to bother, um, but go for it. Yeah. But seriously, all the supplements, I mean, and there might be some exceptions, but I would take them with the meal, with the meal. Okay. Um, so Jeannie, if following the plan, why a weight gain? Yeah, so that's a good question. If I don't know what you mean by the plan, because, I do say people should adapt this, and I see people who claim they're following the plan who are eating something kind of wildly different from what I would eat, and I'm like, okay, that's what they're choosing to eat, and that's what they see as the plan, and I would gain weight on that thing. So it kind of really depends on what you're eating. If you're eating what I'm eating, you're not going to gain weight on it, unless, I mean, you'd have to be, I mean, your maintenance calories would have to be really low. Because I'm a small human. Okay, I'm 5'2" and a half, and my maintenance calories are very low, so like 1,800. And the main meal model of my rapid weight loss phase was 1,000 to 1,200 calories a day, and I don't imagine there's an adult out there who would gain weight on that. Um, some would maybe lose weight slower than I did, um, perhaps. When you're older, your metabolism, I mean, as we get older, it goes, slows a little bit. But gain weight, no. If you're gaining weight on it, then I think you need to shine a light on what you're eating. I would take a food log. I would like do a food journal, and then take that journal, and I would calculate the carbs and the calories, and see where you are. I would do it for at least 3 days. And I would be really diligent about recording every single little thing you put in your mouth, everything. Yeah. Because, yeah, you definitely, if you're gaining weight, I think, you need to change what you're doing. That said, what's your, in what period did you sort of gain weight? Your weight will fluctuate. And so I assume you mean you're actually gaining fat. If you're actually gaining fat, you're overeating because your body is, using that food to add fat to the body. If it's like just a scale fluctuation thing, that's like a fluid thing. So we get so many questions like this in the group that I realize it, maybe a lot of us have avoided the scale for so long that we don't realize how much fluid retention affects that scale. And I didn't have a lot of problems with fluid retention in my rapid weight loss phase, but when I was about 6 months out of maintenance, into maintenance, so it was December of 2018, I had a triple hernia repair surgery that had complications. And because of the nature of the complications, I then ended up having fluid retention problems. And so, shockingly, my weight could go up and down by like 10 pounds a day. I mean, really, that's nuts. And so that happens. It absolutely happens. Now, I knew what I was eating. Like, did I gain 10 pounds in a day of fat? There's no, as much as I could eat, there's no way I could gain 10 pounds in a day of actual fat. And so you really need to look at that. Like, what are you eating? Is that way that you're eating going to cause you to gain fat? it's kind of a calories in, calories out question, because if you're really down in that lower calorie range, you're not gaining fat. And so if you're having massive fluid retention issues, fluctuation issues, um, the scale's going to jump all over the place. That said, if you do, it's not a bad idea to, and you don't know why, like you don't have an obvious diagnosis like, congestive heart failure or something that is highly related to fluid retention, then I would do a doctor check-in on that. Like, what is the cause of this sort of wild fluctuation? Yeah, a doctor check-in, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't I think your doctor is going to say absolutely should stay focused on the weight loss as well. And so you will keep burning fat through those ups and downs. And there's some really great graphs in the group that show, like if you look at small parts of somebody's weight loss, you'll see a lot of ups and downs. But then if you look at the full picture, you see like a lot of it, but then like the general trend is down. And so that's what you're going to do. That's what you're going to do. So yeah, if you're gaining actual fat, then you need to really look at what you're eating. And I mean, really look at it and compare it to the 3-day meals. Compare it to, like, if you have the book, that either of the books of mine, compare it to the framework. So like there's a whole section in the salad book that's called the RBS Maker's Toolkit. Really, like, look at your own, like, here's what I'm eating, and read the book at the same time and think about it. Okay, that's what I would do. Let's see. Scrolling down. And okay, Kathy says, can you share in the beginning how you fed your family and stayed on track? This is so incredibly hard for me. Okay, so Kathy, I think keeping it simple with the family, moving the family towards like sandwiches, stuff like that, which, by the way, many of them can make their own. So I don't know how old the kids or the husband or whoever is involved in this, but keeping it really simple and having a plan for simple. And another thing is, for instance, when I make, like, if I'm eating my ridiculously big salad and I say it's the cheeseburger salad that has taco meat on it, then I'm going to have extra taco meat. And I keep it in my freezer in these quantities so that I can do this, wherein maybe everyone else having quesadillas, if that's what it is that they would eat. And so I'm making my taco salad, they're getting the quesadillas. That's it. So essentially there's like a common theme in what I'm eating and what they are eating. And each of them is extremely simple. And so the simplicity model, Kathy, and they can make their own sandwiches. Sorry, but they can. And my husband will often buy like some of the prepared freezer meals. So he always has something in an emergency for himself and for the kids. Yeah. Okay. And so, yeah, and Karen asks a similar question. Do you have to make your salad plus cook for your husband and kids? And I like this. Do you have to? Karen, you don't have to cook for your husband and kids. Just saying. And I sometimes do and I sometimes don't. That's right. So, and oh, hey. So, Anne, yeah, I want to come visit you, Anne. Okay. Let's see. Scrolling down. And Kimberly first saw me on TikTok. Hey, Kimberly, that's awesome. Yeah, so we're just like kind of hitting all the socials this year. That's a big thing. And awesome. Yeah, Sherry, 6 months will come and go, whether you choose to do this or not. I'm in it to win it. Yeah, Sherry, you just posted in the den, didn't you? So like, I was like, yeah, Sherry. Okay. And let's see. Leslie says, my bad days, I am ready, facing cancer. My oncologist approved this diet and fasting as helpful. Okay, Leslie, I am so glad that you found us in this time. And and I'm just sending you all of, all of the positive energy, and just lean in to these resources and the the positive life-changing stories that you're seeing coming out of this. And our bodies just take the tools. Our bodies want to heal themselves. And allowing that to happen, like with our decisions and helping our bodies do that, is just so powerful. I'm so glad you're here, Leslie. I am so glad. Um, let's see. Let's see. Oh my goodness, Leslie. Congratulations. Okay, wow, wow, wow. That's awesome. Wow. Let's see. So Leslie, you guys, Leslie's down 80 pounds. So those of you who are just listening, sorry, I just put her comment up on the screen. I'm like, wow. Okay. So, and Connie says, I've started a few times and keep giving into the darn donut. I'm so glad I joined today. It's inspiring. Yeah. And so the harsh reality is, Connie, I mean, the thing is that, the donut is a powerful enemy, obviously, and there's never, I don't think it's ever easy to, I would like to eat a bunch of donuts even now. I mean, I'm going to admit it. I don't think that part of you ever goes away. It just gets easier. And recognize like the cost of eating the donut, and not just the sort of obvious, well, I'm going to, I get fat from eating it, but like all that, like regret, second guessing, consider all the costs of the donut. Let's see. Let's see. So D started last year, originally did well, lost 40 pounds, and okay, a lot of family issues, and gained 30 back. So lost 40, gained 30. So what's kind of interesting is that I do think that a big part of my success in maintenance has been one thing, that I got all the way to the finish line. So D, I don't know what your starting weight is. And so you lost 40. If you have a good bit more to lose, so you gain 30 back. If you have a good bit more to lose, especially like if the losing 40 didn't even get you like to maintenance, you need to get there. You need to get there. I do feel like a big part of the success that we are having with maintenance is getting to the finish line so you can live in the benefits of it. If ultimately it's about this internal negotiation that we have, then and winning the argument against the donut, if you can yourself experience the great life change of, like, for me, 140 pounds is life changing. I had previously lost, 30, 40 pounds or whatever, 50 pounds many, many times, but the difference was not life changing like 140 pounds is. And so getting there and really reflecting on it and living in it is really important. And I think too, speaking to this point of we have to be developing new habits and new structures for ourselves, and being mindful of where we're going with this weight loss so that we can use those tools in maintenance. Because that's exactly the problem, is that like life happens and it's just easy to kind of ratchet back to where we just were. So people in Engage and the project that I did in February. So if you're not in Engage, I mean, it's not a secret. I'm not trying to keep it a secret, but without, lapsing into 3 hours of discussion about my project at my house. It was a giant, like, horrible clean out of a big cluttered area. And one of the things, and so it's an area that was a workshop that became just like a horrible junk area. And the problem is none of us like are carpenters or whatever, so we're not going to like use it as a workshop. So it just kind of became a junk pile, and we cleaned it out. Massive, I don't know, like 8 truckloads like Sanford and Son material out there. It was ridiculous, ridiculous. But a key thing and a key point of change is that it had formerly, in its very old days, been a carport. And so what we ended up doing is, but it had been enclosed. We actually strategically, we removed the front panels of it. So now it's open like a carport again. And actually it looks junkier because it's open. But the fact is, I know that if we'd kept those walls on there, we would have junked it up again. And it's just as easy to do. It's easy to just lapse back into old behaviors. And so knowing that from like what I'm teaching in Engage, I thought I have to make a big play here and change the way we behave in regards to that space. So I took the walls off. And so it'll never get junked up again like it was because, I mean, well, I guess it could, but it's not likely to because now we're going to be parking cars in there. And so at least where the car space is can't be junk. And so it was like changing the way we think about that space, knowing that if we didn't make a change, we'd lapse right back. And that's absolutely what happens with weight loss too. If especially with a mindset of sort of not really having a maintenance plan and not having like these sort of tools in place. Let's see. And so let's see. Anna Sewell says bone broth. Some butchers will give a good deal on them too. Yeah, you used to be able to get soup bones real cheap, and I'd go into like the local meat locker and ask for dog bones because they assumed I was giving them to the dogs. I was just turning them into broth. But it's the high-end market, like the gourmet people, which would go in and ask for like, soup bones or something. So I'd always ask for dog bones, and I'd always get I got them cheap, real cheap. But they've become very gourmet, the prices are crazy. Okay, so and so Robin says, what's amazing about this plan is I don't get discouraged. I gained 2 pounds over the 3-day challenge, but I know I didn't eat 7,000 calories over it. Yes, and I also know I haven't emptied in a few days. Okay, yeah, okay. So absolutely, Robin, and having that knowledge that there's no way it's fat because look at what you're eating. I mean, it's not. And so don't be discouraged by it or, don't like get beaten up over it. And so you're saying you haven't emptied in a few days. So let me comment on that. That what I've found with is because people are asking about things like constipation and stuff like that. I don't have bowel movements as often as I did before, but I'm not constipated. And I think that there's just with the 1 meal a day model, and I don't know, maybe my digestion seems to be like more thorough. And so anyway, I don't consider myself constipated at all. I'm not. And so like it has kind of changed my bowel activity, but not in a way that concerns me at all. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, Debbie. So says to Dee, we can all relate. You're here because you haven't given up and you know what works. We have so much evidence, you guys, about this working, and lean into that. Lean into that. Self-doubt is such a killer of motivation and weight loss and meeting our long-term goals. And lean into all the stories in the community to help with your own self-doubt. I mean, we all struggle with it. Let's see. Jeannie's asking a follow-up because Jeannie asked before about collagen, and are you talking about specific supplements? So I was referring to any supplement, like people always ask, when should I take this or that or whatever? Most supplements you should just take with your meal. Or like, will it break a fast? Well, just have it with your meal. Then it really won't break a fast because you're already breaking the fast. So yeah, I would say that there's probably not many that you would take without your meal. Electrolytes would be one, but electrolytes, with just salts, that doesn't, that's not going to have an impact. Yeah. So Let's see. Kimberly says, I heard that the strong cravings come when your body is starting to burn fat for fuel as self-preservation. Yeah, I don't know. If so, maybe. I think the strongest cravings are those when we're probably overly thinking about it. The best thing we can do for cravings is stop thinking about it. I know that's really obvious, but and maybe not worry about, like, does it mean I'm burning fat or not burning fat? If you're eating pretty, lean, you're going to be burning fat, period. So cravings can, there's this idea that once we're sort of in ketosis and burning fat, that like it all sort of ends up easy and we don't crave things. I'm not sure that's really true. Frankly, if I sat here and thought about donuts or whatever, I just say that quickly, um, I'd start wanting them, period. And I haven't had one for a long time. So I really think it's more mental actually than anything else. And let's see. And Sharon says, I'm still okay. Oh, Sharon's been here for over a year, down 65 to 70 pounds. I did the 3-day and I'm back. Okay, good. And way to go, Sharon, who has moved to White Bear Lake, Minnesota. That's awesome. Okay. Should be like our official headquarters there, like find all the bear places, Sleeping Bear Dunes in Michigan, stuff like that. That's awesome. Okay. Yeah, so Anasul is saying that there's a higher scale rise right before a significant loss. Yeah. And you'll see that. You'll see that in the charts for sure. Yeah. So that's awesome, Sharon. Okay. Let's see. Faith says, my scale went up 2 pounds after the pickle soup. Yeah, I mean, I think it was fluid retention. I can tell you it's not the pickle soup. That's for sure. Isn't that pickle soup's kind of unexpected little interesting soup? Anyone who likes pickles should try that. That's in the Soup Skillets and Sautés book. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay. So Anne is talking about fluid retention with bacon and green olives. And so if I have them, I just plan on not weighing the next morning. Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point, Anne. Because yeah, I mean, things like for me, soy sauce. Right. I mean, it's crazy. So it's just, yeah, fluid retention for sure. Okay, Jessica, how do you keep from feeling ravenous throughout the day? I know my body will probably adjust, but it's the first couple of days that are getting me. Absolutely. Look, Jessica, you're training it. You're training it. You got to push through. There's really no other play. And I know it's hard. And, gosh, maybe even if you needed to do it on days off. So if you're working, okay, and then you're off for a couple of days, and then just plan to be grumpy or whatever and do nothing else but focus on getting through. And you gotta have some things planned. You gotta have that intention that whatever it takes, you're getting through it. It is so much easier. So much easier when you can push through it. Okay, so guys, hunger is trained. This is one of the biggest things that I think is important to understand. If you eat today at 2:00, you will be hungry tomorrow at 2:00. And so the only way to keep from being hungry tomorrow at 2:00 is to not eat today at 2:00. And so you're training yourself. Training. You got to push through. Push through. Okay. So I haven't started to exercise again, but I have a question. Do you have any tips to stay on track after exercising that you may get hungry? Yeah. You know what, Phyllis? Seriously, you know what I'm going to say on that? Don't, especially if you have a lot of weight to lose. I would just keep eating the same way you're eating for losing the weight, and add exercise. And if you do add any food, I would be really careful with how much, and I would check those calories. Here's the problem. You start exercising, you're always gonna think that you burned off like 5 times more than you actually did. And you're gonna think you deserve to eat it, and then you're gonna stall. And sorry to say it, but that's what happens. Because up here, we just always wanna eat more. We do. So it's okay. It's how we are. It's how we are. And so I would really actually not I would consider not adding anything. When I hit 120 to 130 down, and it was 5 years ago no, 4 years ago, and it was the spring of 2018, and I started to hike. And I did add some things, but it was very measured. Like, I would add just because I, like, thought I deserved the treat, which, I did. But see, you get in that mindset of maybe over deserving. But so I was pretty smart, at the time. Now I'd maybe even be more careful, but what I did is I stayed with my meal framework, but then I had some kind of rule, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but, like, I would have something like a Kind bar, those are like those some of them are a little lower carb than others, so finding the lower carb of the Kind bars, those are like the nut-based with some chocolate or whatever, so really good. Um, I had a rule, like, I would have to hike 2 or 3 miles for one of those bars, and so that's what I added, but only if I hiked however many miles. It was 2 or 3, and so that's kinda how I kept it, like, you know, in range or whatever. So I'd be careful about that. 'Cause you really don't need to fuel the exercise. I don't think now you might play around with this a little bit, but, I can just eat my whatever my regular amount is and then just go out and bust it. I've worked 10-hour days on this property doing and probably burning, I don't know, 1,000 calories, 2,000, a lot of calories, and haven't had more to eat, um, and have had no problem getting through that many hours and really, really hard work. Some to try. And, so Kenna says, "I have a question. If you get a chance to go back, Kenna, you guys, if you get just retype. If you've got another question, like, copy, paste it, 'cause, it is really hard to, like, scroll through. Let's see. Just, like, retype it. It's okay. If I see it again, I'll just answer it once. It's alright. Um, I have loved cooking while on the 3-day because I was already full. I always pick and lick and rush and then gorge." Okay, so I think what you're saying is you make sure you do your cooking maybe after you've eaten. So maybe for the family, that's a good strategy. And again, like I was saying, you can coordinate what you're eating with what they're eating. Let's see. Yeah, so Marie is saying Marie weighs every day, and at least once a week the number jumps up. But yeah, overall, the number is trending downward, so I agree a jump is normal. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. And so Anna is saying this week we did Eat Like a Bear dinners for the whole family, 2 from the Ridiculously Big Salad book and 1 from the Soup Skillets and Sautés book. That's awesome. Awesome. And so I know Anna's trying to, like, influence her kids, like, trying to, like, get it all to rub off. Me too. Okay. Um, let's see. And, Kimberly, awesome, Kimberly. My big goal is being able to be active with my family, getting outside in the garden, living life with intention. Yeah, gosh, how amazing. What a world. Isn't this just so great? This is so great. And, let's see. In August of 2019, I began a new scientifically formulated ketogenic diet called BioDiet. And, it was a great step-by-step guide. I have a rare fat disorder. I'm off all hypertension medication. I love your TikToks where I found you. I'm going back. Okay. Well, Kim, so, interesting. I'm not sure if Kim is here to just promote this biodiet.org. It's kind of funny because all the different, programs or whatever else, I'm always like, where are your success cases? Because look at ours. So anyway, I think it's great, whatever anyone's found out there. And anyone who's still looking and wants to do something that you can do on food stamps and that has 170 century bears in now less than 4 years might look at eatlikeabear.com. Yeah. Let's see. And so anyway, I find it funny when people are promoting links in the group or whatever. I mean, we delete them, so we delete all that stuff. But it's like, really? So you think we're all going to run out and buy your MLM or whatever? It would. This is working so well. I mean, I just think it's like so counterculture to Eat Like a Bear. It's almost kind of charming that people think like those links are going to work in our community. So, let's see. Mm. Wendy, leg cramps, electrolytes. Okay, so go into the den, into the frequently asked questions area, and you will find a number of posts about electrolytes. Absolutely number one. So, like immediately, and there's probably stuff in your kitchen that you can use to mix something up, and you should begin to see some results, like really within a day, for sure. Absolutely, I'd get right in front of that. Okay. Um, Mary, so when did you notice the difference beginning to happen and what made the biggest difference? Mary, can you maybe clarify what you're referring to? Because that's the problem with, like, I get caught up in this, and then Mary asked this 10 minutes ago. What was I talking about 10 minutes ago? The biggest difference. Yeah, Beth is talking about recognizing that hunger comes in waves, for sure. So speaking of, the like I still get kind of hungry in the evening. And so the biggest rule I have for myself is I never eat in the evening, ever, 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 ever. But I'll have seltzers and stuff like that. And it's interesting because, so I feel all hungry in the evening. I go to sleep and I'm not as hungry in the morning as I had been in the evening. So that's great. But yeah, I don't want to train my evening eating. Let's see. And so at what point does the whoosh happen? It's just, so the thing is, I think you need to have like some kind of balance between, if like there are legitimate stalls where you really need to reflect on what you're doing and probably tweak. But there's legitimate fluid retention issues and like whoosh moments where like a whoosh would be kind of like where I weighed this morning and I weigh again tomorrow morning and I'm suddenly down 5 pounds and it's consistent. Like it then sticks like, whoa, where did that come from? And the thing is, if you're waiting 6 months for the whoosh, maybe I don't want you to wait 6 months for the whoosh. You know what I mean? Like, so, if I think we all probably need to get like more familiar with how much our own weight does fluctuate. And so that we can examine like our own data in a real way, like where we're not like fooling ourselves or whatever. But because I definitely see people coming into the community and saying like they've been stalled for 6 months. Well, don't wait 6 months to then really shine a bright light on what you're doing. So I want people to not give it too long, but also not be like traumatized by daily measurements, and because the fluid retention thing is real. So you should be seeing some consistent loss over time. So take a good time series and you keep seeing the loss. But if you're asking at what point does it happen, that I'm not sure that's even answerable, because again, it happens when it happens. And then the question is it about to happen, or do you need to ratchet it in somehow? Somehow. So, I don't know. Maybe start taking a chart, post it, ask, something like that. Yeah, so what about medication? You're taking twice a day with foods. Okay, so look, no, Kathleen. So no, don't stress about this. What you're going to do is if you're trying to do like mainly a one meal model, you make that second one super tiny and mainly fatty. So fat does not impact your insulin like protein and sugar does. And so you can have cheese, for instance. So I would have like a measured amount of something like cheese, like just enough. You could ask a pharmacist to say, like, I'm going to just have very small, the smallest meal possible amount of cheese or whatever it is. And just check on like whatever that medication is. And then that's it. And I seriously, I would like train myself that that's it. That's what I have with my medication. Because the risk here too is that you just kind of end up lapsing into a whole second meal. No, it's really, really easy to eat too much with you start getting into two meals. So and for like the most like aggressive results, you have your one main meal, and then yeah, with the medication, again, cheese. Or let's see, I'm trying to think. I think Jackie Patty has had macadamia nuts. So if you're not dairy, then something like the macadamia nut, but something fatty. Okay. Yeah, is going to be your best strategy. Don't stress over it. Don't stress over it. Nope, you can do this. Let's see. It dove back in after a 6-month break, feeling positive and following the tenets. Good. Okay. Okay. Looking to get strong. I love it. That's awesome. Awesome. Sharon, I just love this. Sharon, again, who lives at White Bear Lake. I can't even think about anything other than eat like a bear since I live in White Bear Lake. I also have issues with salty things and fluid retention. Okay. So what if that's what we just all need to do is move to a place with a bear name? I feel like maybe I should. I do. I wonder if I could somehow get the name of this area changed. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Just looking at comments. Oh, so Lana is saying, I'm down 40 pounds since the middle of January. Yeah. Okay. Wow. This new this new way of life has given me back my life, my whole life. It is still a process daily, and it always will be, Lena. And I'm still learning and practicing every day. Good. Keep learning and keep practicing. So am I. Okay. By the way, I have been encouraged not only live, but not just to take, to live, not just take up space or just, wow. I want to experience the joy through taking up life daily and walking through this journey to be transformed into a new person. Wow. It has resuscitated my heart. Oh, wow. Okay. My heart. Yes, that is what we do at Eat Like a Bear, is it not? Okay. Let's see. And so Angie, taking your morning meds. So same thing, like cheese or whatever, right? Or the macadamia nuts. Well, here we go, Leslie. I'm here from Kodiak, Alaska. So Leslie is gonna one up White Bear Lake. Okay, that's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, I need to get to Alaska too. Okay, boy, I'd just love to go to Alaska. So, Claudia asks, "Do you use dressing?" Claudia, you haven't seen me much on social media. If you ask if I use dressing, yes, of course I use dressing. So, Claudia, find the 3-day challenge, and you'll find a 3-day menu, and it definitely includes dressing. Absolutely. And what is my take on fruit? Yeah, so I tend to go to the lower carb fruits like the berries, but also recognize that I can eat a lot of berries. And increasingly as I look at like what I do and what I eat in like the maintenance and all that, I am concerned less if like something's sort of keto or whatever else. What I get concerned about is if I simply overeat it. I can eat a lot of berries. Okay, so that's one of the things that I try to, like, have some berries and not too many berries. The other, like, high sugar fruits, in maintenance, I wouldn't be concerned about them, except that I would eat too many. Okay, that's all. Yeah. Let's see. And let's see, oh, we got some people coming into the Century Bear Club for sure. And you know what? And lots of people, like we have lots of weight loss cases of people who have lost less than 100 pounds, changed their lives too. But I think because I started at 280, um, and we really are, as a community, attract people at higher starting weights. And so we have a lot of people who need to lose more than 100 pounds. And so we have we're like the Century Bear place, so the Century Case headquarters at Eat Like a Bear. So, which is totally awesome. Totally awesome. Let's see. And yes, Georgia Baker, one of our Century Bears, she waits for you all to join. Yeah. Um, yeah. So I am an immigrant, so food for me is home. Any tips for emotional eating? Yeah, it's interesting that I never really considered myself an emotional eater. I think that I wasn't quite as bad as maybe some people, and so I thought I didn't have an issue. But as I've really looked at myself, especially in maintenance, I realize I did. I just didn't really recognize it. And but now I definitely see that one of the things I did somewhat unintentionally, but luckily, is I was so focused on getting through my grind that I did implement some things that essentially did replace some of the comforts that I was getting from food. And so one of those was swimming. We have locally here, we have a hot springs, and there's a pool and hot tubs. And so I started going there. And it over time, like, that became my place. And so I was really replacing the eating with the swimming and the soaking. But also, I've really noticed that I listen to music a lot more than I ever did. And so, in terms of cultural, um, how about sounds? How about music? How about like embracing some of the music of your culture, and kind of leaning into that? So, like, Patricia, lean into other things that are not gonna make you fat, basically. And find those things that touch your heart. That's really what we each need to do. Yeah. Let's see. Um, let's see. Mary says, I love the salad so much, but when you go out and eat, but can you change the dressing in the meals? Because I'm not used to eating out. I add extra lettuce because they don't make it with enough salad. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, with the going out issue, gosh, it all just kind of depends. Yeah, I mean, their dressings are, you're not going to necessarily find the same dressings out there. I don't know. What I did in my rapid weight loss phase is the way I solved kind of that issue is, frankly, I didn't eat out that much. So I think that's the easiest option. Uh, I would make a plan, like know where you're going to eat out and know what their menu is. Sometimes I do what I call pre-eat an event or something where maybe I have kind of the big salad, um, but maybe with sort of less protein or whatever, like might not be a super big salad, but enough of a nice little base. So when I get to the event or to the restaurant, I'm already kind of partway there, and then just get sort of a regular, low carb meal that they have. So really, a strategy, like knowing where you're going and having a plan, and then, and you stick to it. But if you have a plan, the thing about a plan is that's your intention. It sets it up here, for what you're about to do. And so be prepared, um, because then, you know what to expect, but part of that preparation brings intention. That's really important. So, um, yeah. So Lola says, I love the fact that we don't have to purchase anything other than food. Right. And that the food that we eat is so flippin' inexpensive. I mean, it can be. I mean, we can go totally gourmet and spend as much as we want, of course. Absolutely. So this is part of the sort of virality of Eat Like a Bear, for sure. Yeah. Let's see. And okay, Jen is saying, don't we have like an Amazon link page? Yeah, we do somewhere. I have to even find it. Honest Soul might know it. She links to it sometimes. Yeah. Let's see. What do you think about the 3-day challenge and then doing a 36 to 48-hour fast afterwards, and then keep that on a rotation? Okay, Sharon, that's a great question. So for those of you guys who don't know about like extended fasting, Sharon's asking about, so the 3-day challenge is a 1 meal a day model. So you're eating once a day, like in 1 hour. So you eat, an hour and you fast in 23. But what Sharon's saying is, so a 48-hour fast, for instance, is skipping a day of eating. So you might eat on Monday, that 1 meal, you skip eating entirely on Tuesday, and then you eat again on Wednesday. And I have on YouTube, Sharon, I want you to find the video, search the Eat Like a Bear YouTube channel for extended fasting and watch that video, because what you're describing is actually effective for weight loss, but I have a concern about it. And that is that people who lean into that model have had a harder time in maintenance. And the reason is that, but now, there's no reason what you're saying can't be like a wildly great strategy. It absolutely can be. But let me, what you've asked is a little bit conceptually different, but if it's the same, I'm going to give a easier example for people. What if we had them like it's called alternate day fasting, where you actually only eat every other day. Okay. Massive weight loss success, as you can imagine, because you're only eating every other day. Well, what can happen? Let's say your maintenance calories are 2,000 for easy math. Okay. And you, every other day, let's say you eat 2,500 calories. Okay. And so let's see, in 2 days, if your maintenance calories are, okay, the math, 4,000 in 2 days, and you just ate 2,500 calories, you then have a calorie deficit of 1,500 calories in the 2 days. That's great. And you would end up losing about a quarter pound a day. That's really, really, really great. And you also are training yourself to eat 2,500 calories a day. Okay. And so then when you land into maintenance, or if you sort of, end up going into a regular daily eating model from that alternate day fasting model, you've trained yourself to eat 2,500 calories a day, which, by the way, is 500 above your maintenance calories. And so now you're getting fat again. Okay. And so, Sharon, to a large degree, I encourage you that whatever it is that you do, whenever you eat or don't eat, that on the days that you eat, you're training yourself for the long game. And so make sure that on those days that you are eating in such a way that you can maintain your weight. If you are some people really eat, like, the alternate day fasting, eat a whole lot on the day that they're eating because they want to, because we all want to, and it becomes, like, what they're training themselves in, and so then they really, really struggle, and then they're gonna gain weight back, I mean, pretty readily, depending on how they're implementing it. So that's what I'd look at. But absolutely, any of that, I mean, you guys, extended fasting helps with weight loss because 'cause you're not eating. It does. It really does, and it can be kind of addictive in that sense because, you wanna lose the weight, and so, I'm not saying not to do it, but I'm saying when you do eat, watch what you're doing because that's the habit that you're working on, and that's your long game, is the days that you eat. That's the long game strategy right there. So, um, let's see. Um, Ken is asking about a rapid pulse rate. Ken, I just don't know, and I don't feel like I can answer that. I feel like that's maybe like a little like primary doctor check-in question kind of a thing. Um, in general. Um, and Jeannie asks, getting over a plateau, is a higher fat meal good to push it over the edge? Um, so I'm gonna say this is actually where the extended fasting can kinda shine if somebody was open to that, and that, it can kinda push you through, but again, with a caveat that it's really important that what you do end up eating, like, say you take a day of not eating, or even some people will take 2 days of not eating, that when you land back into the eating, I would seriously then really land back into that 1 meal a day model if that's what you're trying to implement. I mean, or whatever if it's a 2 meal model that you're doing, that you land right into that 2 meal model as you intend to implement it daily. That is not sort of the binge because you just did the 2 days of not eating. Because so what happens with the extended fasts is it really actually it's counterintuitive, but it really helps reduce your hunger. Like when you launch out of that fast and you start eating again, hunger doesn't tend to be as bad. It's kind of amazing. Amazing. But what you need to do is leverage that opportunity. Now I'm training when I'm going to be hungry. Eat once a day if that's what the model that you're intending to train. Do that. Don't, like, come out on some, like, wild binge because now you're training yourself in that. Okay? It's always about that. Um, okay, Robin is saying, yeah, so, cream in the coffee for morning medications. Yeah. Robin, that seems obvious now that you say it. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. So, though you guys know, you could put a lot of cream in your coffee throughout the day, and that adds up too. So but that's a great option for the medication. So, let's see. Rocio. Yeah, so Rocio, so what you learned in the 3-day challenge, like that way of eating, I did that for a year plus, and it drove massive amounts of weight loss success for me. And so it really depends on how aggressive you need to be, what your circumstances are, kind of like what your maintenance calories are and all that sort of thing. My husband eats more calories than I do. He, for weight loss, has like landed into a 2 meal model. And so it just kind of depends on your circumstances. But to get like, if you fit it all, like sort of the demographic profile of like the community that you see here, older women with a lot of weight to lose, I encourage you to just keep going with that model. Yeah, keep doing it. I mean, every single day and change your life. So, and it really totally does get easier. It really does. Now it's never easy. It's never, I mean, you know what? Because like making good decisions is never easy about anything in life. Yeah. Um, So Angie is on her last 25 pounds. Yeah, Angie, well, it's perfect time of year to look for those 25 and to ask this question. Launch yourself out there into life, girl. Go do it. Go get it. Yeah, I would get extra active. I would, because that's going to, first of all, it'll burn calories, obviously. But you know what? Get out there and like just reap the benefits of all your hard work. I mean, 90 pounds, that's great. And I wouldn't, I mean, I'd really try to like reflect and dig into that and just like let it touch your heart and let it keep fueling your activity and grind it off. So I would keep strict with the eating because it does, when you're at the lower end of the weight scale, you actually your maintenance calories are lower. Because think about it, you guys, you're 400 pounds, your maintenance calories are higher because your body needs more fuel to lug all those pounds around. I mean, very literally. And so you lose the pounds, your calorie needs go down because you're literally not lugging the fat around. Well, good for you. I mean, that's good. Except now you need to eat less. Okay, that's the sort of the bad part. You have to eat less to lose the same amount of weight, and that's why our weight loss sort of slows towards the end. And that's not like it's not bad. It's just like you just shed all that weight. Good for you. So you do have to kind of like maybe supercharge it towards the end. And I think it's easier to get out and like frolic and live, but keep eating the way you've been eating to lose the weight. And I wouldn't add more because you're being active, because then again, it's easy to add too much. And also, you want to grind this off. So go grind it off. Yeah, do it. This is the time of year. It's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So let's see. Um, let's see. Patty, one of my greatest temptations is snacking while I'm at work. This week I brought no snacks, no fruit. Okay, but I felt very tired and my days lagged on. Okay, Patty, so what I think you should do is I think you should look into maybe something like some aromatherapy tools, or even like some like hand or lotions or something that have something energetic in them, like rosemary. I love for this. You're at work, you want to be perked up. Rosemary is a great thing that actually helps your mood, but also like gives you that little bit of perky energy. And I would integrate it somehow. You could even like make rosemary tea. Frankly, you could do all kinds of stuff with rosemary, but I think some of the things like lotions or whatever, and I would have those right at your desk. So like where you used to have the nuts or what, yeah, the nuts, then I'd have that like rosemary thing. And not just like your hands will get really extra moisturized, so that's good, but maybe like an air spritzer too, like so that you always have something. I would do that. Replace it. Replace the habit. Be very intentional about that. Let's see. Candy. So name our property Bear Haven or similar. Yeah, we could name it. See, I'm thinking about this already. Yeah, it's a good idea. Is there a better time of day to eat to lose the most weight? Yeah, earlier in the day. Now, okay, look, do what's going to work for you, because that's the main thing is that it's something that you can implement. And keep in mind too, we all have different sleep schedules. So some people are super late night owls, and so they might be eating in the afternoon. And I'm an early to bed person, so I do eat by mid morning. I typically eat. The idea is that if you can like completely digest your food before you sleep, then when you're sleeping, your body's doing some great work at like, burning fat and healing and all that. So that's going to be your best strategy generally. But yeah, Connie, work it out. Like the best thing is the thing you can implement. Yeah. Barb says, can we use store-bought dressings, and what kind can I use? I don't even know the different brands, Barb. So just look for some that don't have like a lot of added sugars or whatever. But to me, I'm like so frugal and those are expensive. I use a lot of dressing, a lot. So it goes against my frugal heart to even know what the dressings are. I should look. I should look and check. I'm not sure. So there might be suggestions in the group, but labels, I would look at labels. So Vicky asks, is there a certain number of carbs, calories that would stop my ketosis? I'm asking in regards to creamer in my coffee. The creamer does have like a smidgen of carbs. Most of us think of it as a zero carb thing because like a tablespoon shows zero, but there's a smidgen in it and it adds up. You can end up adding a powerful amount of calories to your day with the cream. So I'd be careful about it. If you're having it, there's this notion in the keto world that cream is kind of a free food. It's not. It'll make you flippin' fat. I know. I look at all these things that like, is that something that made me fat? Cream absolutely did make me fat, and it still could make me fat. So I would just, I'd try to cut back on the cream as much as is reasonable. Robin's use for using it with medication, I think, is a really great, absolute great use. But otherwise, it's just too easy for me. I mean, at least like people who say like, oh, I just have a tablespoon a day. Like, this is not an issue. There's almost no probably anything on the planet that if you just had a tablespoon a day, that it's a problem. My problem is that I don't even have 1 cup of coffee with only a tablespoon. That's my problem. I'm like deep into the multiple teaspoon category. Okay, let's see. So Sherry's asking about information on the 3-day challenge. Thank you, Sherry, and go to eatlikeabearden.com and you will find the current community-wide 3-day challenge. And we are ending this. This is our day 4 for the community, but all the information's there. But the 3-day challenge is something anyone can do anytime, any place with an email account because it is always available by email. And we're going to be doing it community-wide every quarter. Let's see. Okay, and so Michelle is saying like keeping the salad dressing with her travel ready. That's a great idea, so that you're always ready with that. And Renee too, looking at the restaurant menus before going. I'm way behind in comments. Maybe I'm okay. Let me speed through. And Mary, I noticed that some of the salads on the posts aren't as big as the head and half. Yeah, okay. Hey, Mary. So people are implementing in all kinds of ways. And frankly, and some of it is because it's working for them and that's what they're doing. Good for them. Some of it because they haven't even opened any of the 3-day challenge information or just taken things for granted. So, so I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily make much of somebody else's photo. Let's see. And so let's see. Rita is asking, in maintenance, do you still fast a certain amount each week? Or do you no longer do that in maintenance? Okay, so intermittent fasting, time restricted eating worked so well for me for weight loss. I knew that if I mean, it was crazy for me not to continue it in some way. And so I went into maintenance completely with the intention that I was maintaining it. And that absolutely is the best decision. What's interesting to me is I thought coming out of the gate that I would kind of end up doing like 2 meals in 5 hours. And I've done a lot of variations of that. And interestingly, because again, my maintenance calories are not that high, 1,800 calories, like I could make like the ridiculously big salad, 3,000 calories. I mean, really easily, really easily. And so I have found that especially when it's a busy month, when I'm under a lot of stress, that it's easier for me to go back to like a 1 or a 1+ meal model. And so that's what I've done because I find that so even in maintenance, if again, under stress and, times are hard, you have the 1 meal, each meal needs to be smaller now. Like if you're having 2, it needs to be smaller than if you're just having 1. So like 1, you have all your calories for the day. Okay. If you're having two, they have to each be smaller than that one would have been. And so what I find is I have my first meal and I'm not completely satisfied. And so that's when I start thinking more about food in the day because I'm looking forward to my second meal. And so say that's 5 hours later. In those 5 hours, I'm now waiting for that second meal, and in those hours, I'm thinking about food, and so I have to struggle more with the food, like not snacking, eating a bunch of pistachios or something, and then having a second kind of moderate meal. Under a lot of stress, I find it easier to eat one meal. It's like the eat and go be awesome point. Like that's what I tell people, eat and go be awesome. Because, eat, draw the line, walk away from it, disassociate from the food. That's a big theme that I talk about also in the Soup, Skillets, and Sautés book. Let's see. And Brenda, I'm finding the ability to do more activity is motivating me even more. That is awesome, Brenda. I'm so glad to hear that. That's Brenda, you should post your story in the transformation story section of eatlikeabearden.com. I think that'd be amazing. Let's see. And so Tina says, thank you so much. So far since February 1st, oh, Tina has lost 38 pounds and you're off your diabetes medications. Only 10 pounds to go until Wonderland. I have some good quality protein powders left over that I've purchased. Would you chuck them? Or I don't know. I would totally, I guess I would use them. I don't know. A scoop is 120 calories though. Okay. To me, I guess I'd wonder, like, what am I having them instead of something? Do I want to eat something else that's 120 calories? Maybe I do. So I don't know. Though I hate to chuck anything. And if you're doing, like, people who are doing rigorous exercise will sometimes lean into the protein a little bit more. I don't know. I don't know, Tina, but congratulations. I mean, that's really awesome. And isn't it something? So Wonderland, you guys. So Tina says, you guys all know what Wonderland is. That's when your weight is like 100 and something, so like getting to that 199 instead of your weight starting with a 2. That's so exciting. I remember just back before all this, before I started my weight loss and never imagined that I'd ever have weight starting with a 1. I remember being really envious of hearing about people getting to Wonderland. So yeah, that's awesome. Okay. And let's see. Oh, good. So Angie's grinding to the finish line. That is awesome. And let's see. And Kimberly, okay, so I'm glad. So Kimberly, what says I wasn't going to listen? Okay, good. And Kimberly, you've been discouraged. You're stalled and slipping, trying to get the last 20 or so pounds off. Yeah, it's spring, Kimberly. This is the time. I mean, if this isn't the most perfect time to grind off, it's interesting because it's the time that I started. I started in the spring, in a sense, and I think in the den, in the one of the initial 3-day challenge posts, I linked. I did a whole video on this last week in Engage, and so that's available for you guys too in the 3-day challenge. But I started in the spring essentially, and then I finished in the spring. Spring is powerful, very powerful. Let's see. Barbara asks how much water daily. So I just kind of go with being, if I'm thirsty, that kind of thing. And I haven't really worried too much about it. So I don't have specific advice on that. I would try to stay, like I'd look up the electrolyte information. That's going to be the bigger thing for hydration is getting the right mix of like the sodium and potassium and that sort of thing. Yeah. Let's see. Trying to look at comments. I think I just lost some comments. Hey, Casey. Hey, Casey, Century Bear Casey. So, and yeah, okay, a bunch of comments just kind of, I feel like I lost them. And scrolling down, Pat says, I hope you do more of these video classes. This has been great and extremely helpful. So Pat, are you okay? So Engage is the place to find more, though the YouTube channel. Okay, so Engage is a paid community, and so you can join that. But there's a lot of YouTube content, okay, that's free, okay, that's there. Yeah, so what I'm only going to be doing the live videos probably during these quarterly 3-day challenges, and I do them in Engage. And my focus this year, 2022, on videos is like the short form content, like the TikTok and the Facebook Reels content. Yeah. So and let's see. And okay, yeah, okay, you guys, awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's see. So Robin says, Dr. Ken Berry also says, just drink when thirsty. Did you guys know he's a member of our group? So anyway, with all of we like rural southern-ish people, it's kind of funny. Dr. Ken Berry representing the men in like he's in Tennessee or someplace. Let's see. And so, Brenda, awesome. I have found that if I'm feeling peckish, drinking a nice unsweet peppermint tea takes away the urge to snack. Yeah, so have tools like that. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yes, Robin, yes, you can search. You'll see him in there. I mean, I don't know that he reads it. I have no idea. I have no idea, but yeah, he's a member. So, okay. I wonder if his ears are burning right now. Okay. Wow. So you guys, I am, it's been great chatting with you guys today. And I will catch you all. If you're just finding the 3-day challenge information at eatlikeabearden.com, go in and gobble it up. So we do this quarterly community wide. And so then, but then we revert back to just kind of by email, which you can do at any time. Absolutely. And so it's always ready for you there. But the community wide area that it's kind of like a pop up. And so it's there now, and it'll turn into a pumpkin in a day or two. So go gobble it all up. But yeah, just do it by email too. Okay. And let's see. Barbara says, "Will you be putting more recipes online? I have not purchased the book yet." Yeah. So Barbara, I typically have some recipe content coming out. So yeah, definitely. So definitely look on YouTube for that. There's not like a whole bunch on YouTube, but that's where you're going to see some of it coming out, or in the short videos. So yeah, all of that. Yeah. Okay. But the thing is, Barbara, the recipes, there's so much in the content that's really like more the psychology of implementation. So don't overlook that. Like it's not sort of all just about like, does it have an exact amount of yogurt or something? There's almost no ingredient in any of this that's actually like critical or anything. It could all be kind of adapted or whatever else. And the big thing about a lot of what we're doing is like the psychology context in which we're implementing it. And so as an example, I think that the salad works so well for a lot of reasons, but the psychology of it's maybe unappreciated. And the fact is that it can fill us up, make us very satisfied in a calorie-minded way. And the whole like eat and then go be awesome part of it, that drawing the line and walking away, is a really powerful thing in what we do. And so the recipe itself of the salad is interesting and important, but having that like mindset of drawing that line and walking away is really, really super critical. And so don't overlook those kinds of elements in looking at the recipes. And let's see. Let's see. Just okay, you guys talking about buying. Okay. So Judy says just join Engage, costs less than a meal a month eating out. We have inspiration through live videos every week. Yeah, so Engage is $30 a month. And there is a deep dive psychology content in Engage. And yeah, realistically, we I mean eating out. I mean that's the truth. You're eating out with a family, then that's a whole other level of cost. But anyway, so, and Lorraine is saying you can buy the salad and the hot meal book. Yeah, you'll find some recipes online, and you can buy the books. So those are all options. And let's see. Beth says the psychology is what has helped me so much and has kept me in line, so to speak. Okay, excellent. Let's see. I guess I need to watch more videos. Is what I seem dumb asking things. I'm doing the 3-day beat every week, and I lost 5 pounds. Other days extremely challenged. Okay, so yeah, Ruth, there's a lot of information. So, okay, I would say anyone struggling who's not going to join Engage or not going to buy the books, what you need to do is go back to, so at eatlikeabearden.com, there's kind of a how to eat like a bear thing in the sidebar. And also on the eatlikeabear.com website, the main website, there's a start here post. And I would really just get back into all of that and really look at that. I would look at the 3-day challenge content again and compare what you're doing to the stuff in the 3-day challenge. Let's see. And let's see. Sharon says, congratulations to my sister bear, Brenda Kerr. She is still hanging in there after a year. Now, wait a minute. So just to clarify, are you sisters in blood or sisters in heart? Both, maybe. So yeah, Brenda, I feel like is almost an Eat Like a Bear institution. Awesome. Let's see. And Brenda says, in the psychology, I found adding monk fruit adds 0 calories and 0 carbs, but it messes with my head. Yes. Okay. Exactly, Brenda. And she says, it messes with my head. So I just have to stay away from all sweeteners. Exactly. Because that's the thing. So outside of your eating window, is it affecting your biology? So is it affecting that fast or whatever, your insulin, that kind of thing? Maybe it's not. But if it makes you want to eat, then it's a problem. And that's the psychology of it. That's the psychology part. Absolutely. So awesome. And let's see, sisters in heart, and my grandbabies call her Oh, so you're like good tight friends. And yeah, I grew up with Uncle Mike, who's not my blood uncle, but was my dad's best friend. Yeah. His daughter is in the group, by the way. So, okay, you guys. So I'll see y'all around. You can see that we're growing in different areas here at Eat Like a Bear, and so please bring your questions and any transformation stories, like Brenda needs to post at the Eat Like a Bear den. This den is becoming our central hub. Really, as we've looked at, we get concerned. We have lots and lots of wisdom in the Facebook group, but honestly, it's 3 years now, we've had an ongoing concern that, Facebook has its own issues, and, we could get sort of glitched out of Facebook, and then all that wisdom would be gone. So what do we do about that? And it's been an ongoing worry. And so that's why we're really shifting all this. Like, let's not worry about Facebook, because let's make us you know what? I don't want to be dependent on anybody for anything, frankly. Like, I'm past that point in my life. And the idea that we could just kind of be shut down, just glitched out or whatever, and all that wisdom is gone. Nope, can't have it. So we're shifting it. So all the glitches are our own. And so anyway, okay, so awesome, you guys. So Brenda is asking, where in the den? Okay, so Brenda is over in Facebook, and Brenda is in the Facebook group, the main stories group. And so, Brenda, we have a website and it's eatlikeabearden.com. So this is in addition to the main website, the main eatlikeabear.com website. But Eat Like a Bear Den has housed this community-wide 3-day challenge. And also there's an area there where you can put your own story. And so the idea, Brenda, is that, like, because you have a bunch of great posts in the stories group on Facebook, but it's private. It's like behind that Facebook wall. And again, I'm talking about like our concern that we could wake up one day and it's just like kind of all gone. That's terrible. Should we all wake up someday and anyone who's in that group and it's gone, you come to the den, okay? Eatlikeabearden.com. I shall see you there. But I hope it never comes to that. But honestly, there's so many back end like glitches on Facebook, and it's just notoriously difficult to get a human being there. And we have so many war stories. And so, Brenda, your greatness is there in that stories group. So if you don't mind posting something in public, because it would be public, go to eatlikeabearden.com, and there's a section called Transformation Stories. And the idea too is that I sort of felt like, what if, I mean, like, like Jackie Petty asks me, do you have a plan if you like got hit by a bus? What's going to happen to all this? And she always asks me things like this, and then always ends it with, by the way, stay away from buses. Okay. But the point is, what if something happened to like the group? I mean, Facebook glitchy wise. Well, we now have another place that's like the central hub. Okay. And also we're growing in the other socials. So we need a central place like where we can all come together. So Brenda, you need to find eatlikeabearden.com. Okay. Let's see. Hey, you guys, thank you all for being here. And I am going to, it's a beautiful spring day here in California, and I'm headed out. I'm actually working on the next wave of edits of the Soup, Skillets, and Sautés book. So that's kind of my big project now. But catch you engagers and engage anyone like new. That's fabulous. Everyone who's not, that's okay. Because there's all kinds of awesomeness coming in your future. And it's a matter of staying focused, and you'll find the PDF. I will not rattle it this time. I will just hold it gently like this, and you'll find the PDF. The Fight for It PDF, okay? And you'll find that in the 3-day challenge materials at the den, eatlikeabearden.com. There's a 3-day challenge area, and in it, there's a post that says something like launch into springtime or something like that. And it has the Fight for It PDF. So, you guys, Beth says, fastest 2 hours. Oh my gosh, we've been on here for 2 hours. Okay, well. Okay, no wonder I need some more coffee. Okay, anyway, you guys, go be awesome. All right? Good talking to all you guys. You take care. Bye-bye.